Today's benefit is living accommodation. First of all, note down, we do have two types of accommodations. We do have two types of accommodation. We learned the benefit, no? What is the definition of benefit? What is benefit?
Anything that's free.
Free, provided by employer to employee, right?
Yes.
So there are two types of accommodation which employer can provide to employee. First one is called job related accommodation, and second one is known as living accommodation. Living accommodation. Okay. So living accommodation is taxable. We will learn today how it's taxable. And job related accommodation is exempt. Exempt means we are not going to do any working for job related accommodation. Job related accommodation is completely tax free, but the living accommodation is taxable. How we will know that is it which we are doing right now is taxable one or exempt one? So we have to memorize some conditions. There are three conditions for an accommodation to treat it as job related accommodation. If it is necessary for the job, if it is necessary or requirement of job to be to stay in that accommodation. For example, you know, the caretakers, the nannies, the nurses, the watchmen, they have to stay, it's necessary, or they have to stay because it's improved their performance. If it is like that, that it's necessary or it is going to improve the performance, then only the accommodation will be treated as job related. And the last condition is, if it is necessary for a person to stay in the accommodation because of its security. For example, you are a prime minister. Prime minister is also an employee, right? Or ministers, they are also employees. So if they are living in prime minister house, why they are staying there? Because they do have security threats. In order to minimize the security threats, they have to stay in these accommodation like prime minister houses, like minister includes minister accommodations like that. So if an accommodation is one of them, yani is necessary or is going to improve the performance, or it's necessary to stay because of the personal security, if any of these three conditions satisfied, then we can say this is a job related accommodation, and job related accommodation is tax free. Yani there is no tax, no working, only we will write exempt like canteen, like other exempt benefits. Any questions, please?
Will we do a question on this?
Yeah, it will. We will do. If it is not a job related accommodation, we are going to say it's a living accommodation, and living accommodation is taxable. Living accommodation is taxable. How it's taxable? There is a format for it. There is a format. I'm going to write it down. First of all, living accommodation, we are going to calculate normal benefit. The normal benefit working is higher of annual rent. Annual rent means market rent, and actual rent paid by employer. Yani if employer took this accommodation from someone on rent and provided to you, it's benefit for you. But what is the saving? If you have accommodation provided by company, what is your benefit? Simple benefit is you are going to save the rent. You are going to save the rent. Otherwise, you have to pay the rent by your own. So these both figures will be given to you in your question. Annual rent yani market rent, and actual rent yani which is employer is paying, which is paid by employer in order to provide you this accommodation. These both figures will going to be provided in the paper. What you need to do, you need to just take out the higher of. What you need to take out? Just you need to take out the higher of. And always remember our tax year. What is my tax year?
2021 to 2022.
This is the tax year. This will be considered. And we know contribution towards use. If I am paying, I am an employee and I am paying some amount to employer, is it my return? Is it something like I can say that I am returning the benefit or no?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, we will do it now. So this is the format. Keep this format in front of you, and I am going to share you one small question. Okay. This is question number 15 from our handout. Please read the question.
Mr. A was provided a living accommodation by his employer on 1st December 2019. Annual value was 12,000, actual rent was 12,800. Mr. A contributed 100 per month for the use of accommodation. Required accessible benefit.
Okay. So you read the question, right? First of all, tell me, this accommodation is provided when?
1st December 2019.
Means before tax
The
year.
tax year.
My tax year is this one, right? So I will assume that it's available throughout, right or wrong? Because they provided us before tax year and there is no information that employer throw employee out from this accommodation. There is no information like that. So I will assume that is throughout 21-22, right or wrong? Now,
Right.
tell me the annual rent. How much annual rent is given?
12,800.
12,000 annual, this annual rent, annual value. Okay. Annual rent, or you can say annual value as well. Both are same. Okay. 12,000. What is the actual rent paid?
12,800.
Which is the higher of, right or wrong? How much employee is returning to employer? How much?
100 per month.
Contribution by employee. Can you repeat the definition of benefit, please? What is the definition of benefit?
I think that's free.
Free, right? So you got a benefit of 12,800 as per the tax working, but you return how much? How much you repay him? See how much you repay him?
1,200.
1,200 per month, right or wrong? Sorry, 100 per month means 1,200 a year. So
Yes,
how much?
1,200.
So what is your net benefit?
11,600.
This is a very basic question of living accommodation. Any confusion, please ask me, otherwise note it down. Now, this was the very basic question. Now, if I change a bit in this question and see, just see, if I make a small change in this question, tell me, what do you think? The answer will remain same or no? The small change will be this one. Now, can you read the question and tell me, what do you think? Any difference?
Date has been changed. 21.
So the accommodation is provided when? This is my tax year.
It's provided during the tax year.
How many months I used? December, January, February, March. How many months? 12. Now see very carefully. Higher of is 12,800, right or wrong?
Right.
But what I will do? I will take only how many months?
4 months.
What will be the answer?
4267.
4267 and 100 per month. Should I multiply it by 12 or what should I do?
Multiplied by months.
4 months, right?
Yes.
So
400.
accommodation benefit is,
3867.
please note it down. What we learned is called normal benefit. Now, for accommodation, living accommodation, we have normal benefit. This we knows how to do it. Higher of annual value and actual rent. We knows this. Contribution towards use if given is going to be deducted and months are going to be considered. This we knows. Here I am writing something in this cloud. Additional benefit. Just focus please. Cost of accommodation. Till now we did 2 questions. Yani 1 question, but with a change, it was part B. Yani 2 questions. But there was no cost of accommodation was mentioned. If cost of accommodation is greater than 75,000, if cost of accommodation is greater than 75,000, we are going to calculate one more benefit, we are going to do one more working, which is called additional benefit, and it will be like that. Cost or market value minus 75,000. This is a formula you can say. In the last question, why we didn't calculate the additional benefit? Because the cost was not mentioned, right? But if cost is mentioned in the question and the cost is greater than, cost must be greater than what? 75,000, then and if then only we have to calculate additional benefit by using this formula. Formula is cost or market price, anything. We will discuss it later on, which will take when minus 75 into 2%. How to do it? Just read the question number 16, which is in front of your screen right now.
Jack was provided with a house to live in by his employer in July 2020. It cost the employer £200,000 in June 2017 and has an annual value of £3,000. Assume the official rate of interest is 2%. Calculate the taxable benefit for the tax year, assuming the accommodation.
Tell me, this is not a job related, no? If it is job related, no need to do any working. We will just write 0 or exempt. Khalas. No need to do any working. But here we have to. So normal benefit will be calculated with using this formula. Higher of annual value, which is how much?
3,000.
Actual rent is not given, right?
Right.
So higher is 0 or 3,000?
3,000.
Very good. Is the cost is mentioned? Is the cost of accommodation is mentioned in the question or no?
The cost is mentioned.
So if the cost is mentioned, what we should consider? That the cost is above 75 or below 75. If
it is
the
above
cost is
75.
below 75, this 3,000 is your answer. Finish. But if the cost is above 75, which is the case here as well, we have to calculate additional benefit by using the formula, which is cost minus 75,000 into fixed percentage, which is 2%. How much answer, please? This will be my accommodation benefit, which is going to be added in the salary. Any questions, please?
No questions.
Sorry?
No questions.
Now there is another question at your screen, which is question number 18 from our notes. Can you tell me the answer, please? The answer of this question is 1780. You got it the same, right?
Yes, 1780.
Oh, very good. Now, going back to the formula, just very carefully, we will discuss one small concept here. What I wrote here,
Cost of market value.
cost or market value. There is a question. Till now, we did question number 16 and question number 18, where only cost was given. But what if both are being available in the question? What if both are given in one particular question? What should we take? This is a question, right?
Yes.
So the answer is, we will see 6 years rule. What is the rule?
6 years old.
6 years rule. What is 6-year rule means? If employer acquire the accommodation more than 6 years before providing to employee, then we will use market value. If more than 6 years, and if it is equals to or less than 6 years, we will use cost. Employer acquire the property and provide it to employee. If the gap between these two dates, purchased by employer, provided to employee, if the gap is more than 6 years, we are going to take market value. And if the gap is less than 6 years, we are going to take cost. How to take it? We will do a very good question, but wait a moment. This is the formula, right? Cost or market value, no? Into 2%. Our question is when to take cost and when to take market value. So date of purchase by employer, date of provision to employee. There is a gap between these two dates. If the gap is more than 6 years, we are going to take market value. And if the gap is less than 6 years, we have to take cost. This is the simple rule. While we calculate additional benefit, in the formula is written cost or market value. So till now, we did questions where only cost was available, so we were taking cost. But what if cost and market value both being available in one question? What should we do? So we will check out the 6 years rule. Purchased by employer, provided to employee. If the gap is more than 6 years, we are going to take market value. And if the gap is less than 6 years, we are going to take cost. Any questions? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. So if the gap, like the date of purchase by employer, there is a huge gap, then it's more Then it's market value.
Yeah, if it is more than 6 years gap, market value. If it is less than 6 years gap, cost. Okay.
Alright.
And what do you think? What is cost? What is the meaning of cost? What is your understanding? What do you think? What is cost?
Cost is like
Sometimes if
the
we have a
estimated price.
cost, original cost. Cost means the original purchase price which employer paid. But you can see that as we have a flat or we have a house or we have an accommodation, time to time we are spending money to improve it, right or wrong?
Okay,
Improvement
right,
is
yes.
a capital expense. And what accounting says about capital expense? That capital expense must be added to the cost of an asset, right or wrong?
Right.
So tax is saying yes. When the gap between purchase date and providing that is in between 6 years is not more than 6 years, we are going to take cost. And cost, what is the cost? The original cost, original purchase price, plus all the capital expenses, all the improvements we are going to add. But a small condition that these capital expenses must be incurred before my tax year. My tax year, which we are going to attempt in the paper, is 21-22. Means to say that we are going to add all the capital expenses incurred before 6th April 2021. If any capital expense or improvement is given which incurred during the tax year, should we add in the cost? No, we are going to ignore it. How to do it? We will do with the question. Just note it down. And till here, just look at it, the format. We will do a question, then inshallah it will be more clear to you. I need you to read it, please.
Sachin lives in a house provided by his employer, which cost 90,000 pounds. When it was acquired in June.
Let me only two part. Sachin moved in during June 21. Okay.
Okay.
When we purchased this accommodation,
Acquired in June 2016.
okay, June 2016, and he moved in June 21. How many years?
Five years?
Sorry, sorry, what you said?
No, I said 5 years.
Less than 6 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, now just very carefully, we are going to calculate normal benefit, which is easy, annual value and actual rent. We are going to take which one? Higher of, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me higher of how much, which is, can you check?
Annual value of 1,700 pounds.
Okay, 15. Annual value is how much?
1,700 pounds.
Okay, actual rent is not given.
Yes.
The
It's not
higher
given.
of is 1,700, right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay, we have to calculate additional benefit, right? Why?
Yes.
Because the cost is above 75,000. We are considering the cost while we decide to calculate additional benefit or no. Okay, so I'm doing a working here. Cost is greater than 75,000. So additional benefit we are going to calculate 75,000 into 2%, right? This will be my answer. Correct or no?
Yes.
Here I am going to take the cost. Why? Because less than 6 years. Am I right?
Yes.
What is the definition of cost? Cost means the original cost and all the
Capital
capital
expenses.
expense before 21-22. Do you have capital expenses or no in the question? You have these three expenses.
Yes.
First of all, check which one is capital expense or which is revenue expense.
What
Redecoration.
is conservatory?
Redecoration is a revenue expense.
Yes.
Conservatory added is a capital expense. Garage extension is a capital expense. But which one I should take? Both 15 and 10, or what should I do?
15 pounds will be taken.
Only I will take this. I will leave this both because this second one is although capital expense, but it incurred during the tax year. But and we
Yes.
have a rule before tax year. So I am going to add 15,000. It will give me answer 105,000, which I am going to put it here, and I will get an answer of something.
30 pounds.
How much?
600. After applying the interest rate, it's 600.
Okay. So additional benefit, I did a working and I got 600. Total is
2,300.
2,300. Can you tell me which date he moved in?
He moved in June 2021.
Is it complete tax year or some months?
Some months.
How many months?
March, 10 months.
10 months? Okay. So the answer will be?
Answer is 1917.
Sorry?
1917.
1917. Did he pay any rent?
Yes. 100 per month.
And how many months we have? 10 months. So
1,000.
final
917.
answer is 907. This is an exclusive question which has a lot of things regarding accommodation benefit. Any confusion, please ask me, otherwise note it down. Please, requirement B.
Sachin moved in during June 2021, but the property was actually acquired for 90,000 pounds by his employer in June 2013. So, should I read the next B part?
No, this only in 2013 was. Can you tell me what will be the difference in what we did and what is it is now? The cost is above 75, so the additional benefit is going to be calculated. What is saying? They are saying that it was purchased by employer not in 2016. It is 2016 in actual question, but in B they are saying just assume that is purchased in June 2013 and provided in June 21. So can you check and tell me it's more than 6 years or no?
It is more than 6 years.
Sorry?
Yes, it is more than 6
It
years.
is more than 6 years. So here we are going to take what? Cost or market value?
Market value.
Which market value we have to take? We have two market values given.
The recent one.
On the date of provision, we are going to take the market value at the date of provision provided to employee, which is how much?
165.
165. So my additional benefit will be, now you can see I ignore the capital expenditures because capital expenditures can only be added with the cost, not with the market value. So the answer will be for additional benefit
1,800.
and the total 3,500, 10 months, and 1,000 is the contribution. The answer will be 1917. So we can
There's
say
no difference.
that's all for accommodation benefit. Any questions?